These great monuments still have the power to inspire awe. They were built thousands of years ago without any of our modern technology, and we're just beginning to understand how. But the third discovery takes us beyond technology, to Egypt's master builders, the men who created one of the most recognizable landmarks in history. The greatest discoveries made in Egypt reveal the secrets of a powerful and dramatic civilization that lasted for 3,000 years. The ancient Egyptians built some of the most impressive monuments in the world, and the most impressive of all is the Great Pyramid. The third discovery concerns the people who built it.
No one is entirely sure how people, using very simple tools and a lot of sweat, managed to construct such an astonishing monument.
Now, science is about to reveal the answer to this mystery. Until recently, a common picture of Egypt was a country where pharaohs and nobles commanded huge armies of slaves. But new discoveries redraw this image. They reveal a sophisticated social hierarchy and worker welfare. A society that would be recognizable to today's workers, union officials, bosses, and CEOs. The pyramids are located at Giza. 4,500 years ago, the great pharaoh Khufu ordered the construction of what is still the largest tomb ever built. Climbing 500 feet above a plateau, it weighs as much as 17 Empire State Buildings. People have claimed that the Great Pyramid must have been built by aliens, or using spells chanted by priests with secret mystical powers. This is because its scale almost defies logical explanation. Until recently, many believed that it was built by gangs of thousands of slaves. But now, Dr. Hawass has made a discovery that reveals the mystery of who built the pyramids.
I was able to write the history of the pyramid builders from the discovery of the tombs of the pyramid builders.
The discovery is a tale of patient detective work and archaeological forensic science. In 1990, Dr. Hawass found some mysterious evidence.
We began the excavation and I found very strange things. I found bones and wheat seeds, and I said, what's this?
They realized that the builders' tombs were constructed of the same material as the pyramids themselves.
Chunks of limestone, granite, and basalt from what's left over of building the pyramid.
This rock was what they'd used to fashion a tomb for their king. With the pieces they hadn't needed, they built tombs for each other. Further up the hill, Dr. Hawass's team discovered more elaborate tombs. One bore a name.
Some hieroglyphic inscription. And actually, he was an inspector, Sa'aj, the overseer of the workmen who dragged the stones.
So the workforce clearly had an organized hierarchy. The overseer was buried higher up the hill than the ordinary workman, a reflection of his higher status. The evidence in the tombs suggests that workers had defined roles, distinct responsibilities. It was much like a modern construction crew.
This is another unique tomb that I found.
This tomb belonged to a man named Neferthis.
Now we can see his name, Neferthis. But really what's unique in my opinion, look at the scenes. I have never seen it at all in making beer and also baking bread. And this is why I really believe that Neferthis could be the one who was in charge of the bakery.
The museum in Cairo contains statuettes found in Giza. These show the various roles of the citizens, including baking bread and making wine. Other painted reliefs show scribes keeping accounts and records for the tradesmen. Again, it points to a workforce organized along familiar lines, like a modern industrial community. And they appear to have been well valued and well cared for. The evidence reveals that there was a medical aid program.
We found that many workmen had accidents, like stones will fall on their hand and on their legs. They were involved in moving heavy stones. All the skeleton of men and women had a stress on their back.
Still, the forensic evidence shows that the level of care they received was surprisingly sophisticated. Janet Monge is a physical anthropologist who specializes in the study of ancient bones.
We see the shafts show clear evidence that at some point, well before the death of the individual, the bone was actually fractured. The bones are set really well to each other, probably were immobilized for a period of time. And, we would say, by today's standards, these are really superb healing process in these individuals. He did a good job.
Clearly, these workers were highly valued by their employers.
Being a worker was a rare privilege. You were well paid, you were well looked after, and it was in fact a cushy job.
The pyramid builders' tombs reveal an organized structure of professionals and skilled artisans, working within an ordered workforce. They were supported by a sophisticated employee welfare system.
This discovery can prove one important thing, that pyramids were not built by slaves.
Because the tombs at Giza were of ordinary people, they seem to have been ignored by treasure seekers. It was another tomb, kept sealed for 35 centuries, which produced Egyptology's best-known discovery. The tomb of the most famous of all pharaohs, Tutankhamun. Ancient Egypt is one of the most long-lasting civilizations in history. It was ruled over by the most powerful kings. These are statues of real men. Who were they? What were they like? Archaeologists are trying to find out in the tomb of the pharaoh Tutankhamun.
This is not the icon for a statue. It is the icon of the whole world.
Who was the man behind the golden mask? The Valley of the Kings, on the west bank of the Nile. The Valley of the Kings contains 63 tombs. But for centuries, the one belonging to Tutankhamun lay hidden. In 1922, the great explorer and Egyptologist Howard Carter set out to find it.
Howard Carter stayed for 5 years, 5 seasons, trying to find the tomb, until one day in the morning, when the workmen began to clean around, they found 15 steps lead to the entrance of the tomb.
The tomb descended 30 feet into the limestone rock of the valley. The end of the shaft was blocked. Carter punched a hole.
And he saw in this room wonderful things.
The tomb contained not only the body of the pharaoh, but over 3,000 treasures buried with him. Ever since, the tomb has been a magnet for Egyptologists, examining and analyzing the mummy and its treasures. And now, archaeologists can go deeper than ever. They can see the boy king as he's never been seen before. Archaeologists are using modern medical science to study his 3,500-year-old body. CT scans take thousands of X-rays of a body and put them together to produce a 3D image.
The CT scan is wonderful, really, in archaeology. You can actually see everything. You can see how this king died, when he died. You can look at everything.
Experts are investigating a mysterious hole